Um, Let us explore the most intense misconception about mindfulness ever taught. It is very common to hear people confuse meditation with concentration. And they'll tell you that unless you give something your full attention, you're not being mindful of it. Well, what's the harm in saying that? Allow me to illustrate. Well, I guess I'll go back a bit. Sturgeon's law reminds us that 90% of everything sucks. What could that suckiness look like? It could look like being indoctrinated to be rigid, fearful, superstitious, controlling, elitist, cryptic, competitive, and cruel. Most of us are indoctrinated to be that way. Some of us wake up and instead strive to be flexible, loving, rational, laid back, egalitarian, lucid, cooperative, and kind. But what has that to do with concentration? By definition, concentration is focusing on one thing and excluding everything else. That is an act of rigidity. That is an indulgence of our controlling tendencies. Let's continue. Neuroscientists have explained that concentration depends on specific neural pathways such as the medial prefrontal cortex. Concentration requires effort. Any form of rigidity requires effort. Um, and when we fatigue our prefrontal cortex, it triggers our primal, survival-oriented amygdala. What's the problem with that? Well, the amygdala is great if you have to defend children from a bear, but if we live with our amygdala as our default mechanism, we're going to be defined by anxiety and aggression. And doing so is not going to be fulfilling. It's going to be very difficult on your happiness. It's going to make peace and intimacy almost impossible. Fortunately, evolution's got our back. Every time we inhale, we are already wired to access the sympathetic nervous system ensconced within the middle third of our spinal cord. The sympathetic nervous system has evolved to help us to notice vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly. One of the many fringe benefits of working with our sympathetic nervous system. Give me a moment, for I am looking for the appropriate visual aid. One of the benefits of working with our sympathetic nervous system is that it stimulates our anterior cingulate gyrus, this fuchsia ribbon right here. Now, it's not literally fusion, it's just highlighted with fuchsia, so for the sake of an illustration. But this region of our brain functions as what's the word I want to free? I want to use the word mirror neurons. So this region functions as the what's the phrase? I'm experiencing some word loss right now, and I apologize for that. But to describe the nexus or the conjunction or of all our mirror neurons. Consequently, our anterior cingulate gyrus is the seat of empathy that functions as the root of both love and compassion. Seat, that's it, the seat of our mirror neurons. I'm not sure that's the right word. Anyway, let's move forward. Hub, that's the word I was looking for. Whew, that was difficult. Okay, so our anterior cingulate gyrus functions as the hub of our mirror neurons, the seat of empathy, the root of compassion and love. Now, what's really darkly ironic is that the folks who over-rely on concentration and contemplation, focus and analysis will sometimes have the enough self-awareness to notice when they're being dominated by their anxious and aggressive amygdala. And so these same people will say, well, gee, I need more empathy, so I'll think I will analyze empathy and then concentrate upon it. And they might use the word compassion or love, but it's the same basic notion. The dark irony is that even if we use our medial prefrontal cortex and our dorsolateral prefrontal cortex with the best of intentions, we're still going to exhaust our prefrontal cortex. We're still going to trigger our amygdala. We're still going to increase the neural pathways leading to our amygdala, which is the seat of anxiety and aggression, which are not going to make us the warm, happy, cuddly, peaceful people we want to be. The late Tukul Tundup insisted that the highest love, is the spontaneous and uncontrived fringe benefit of noticing in harmony with our sympathetic nervous system and relaxing in harmony with our parasympathetic nervous system. So if someone purports to be a great mindfulness teacher and they tell you that they infer to you that mindfulness is focus or concentration, thank them for their time, but run away from them, because quite accidentally, they're going to harm you. These are findings that have been supported by functional magnetic resonance imaging teachings. Now, once again, I'm not a neuroscientist. I've just Googled this stuff, listened to neuroscientists lecture about this. Now, I don't have the scientific literacy or credentials to compose a proper paper on this. If you do, then go for it. I would love to cooperate with you. But as a meditation teacher who struggled with ADHD and autism and all the comorbidities, including CPTSD, I've had to study neuroscience as a form of just self-defense against the onslaught of really bad, destructive advice out there. Putting this advice into action has helped me profoundly. I still have my health disorders, but they control me less and less and less. And I would love the same for you. So, having concluded our opening lesson, it's time to shift gears. It is Ahsoka Tano Thursday morning. Come, let us meditate like a Jedi after approximately 30 seconds of housekeeping. This is the Renegade Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. For more than 30 years, I've harnessed my autistic special interests as well as my ADHD hyperfocus to spend about 8 hours a day, almost every day, studying, practicing, mastering, and reverse engineering the teachings and techniques of each school of meditation, so that I can become your nerdy, neurodivergent guide to nirvana. Welcome, my friends, to meditate like a Jedi, which is made possible due to the generosity of viewers, just like you. So now, again, we're going to shift gears and slide our attention to the latest iteration of very easy meditation practice text, or sadhana, if you're nasty. Together, let us relaxingly recite. Oh, good morning, Shibi. It's so nice to see you again. Whatever comes, may all beings notice, relax, and flow. Whatever stays, may all beings notice, relax, and flow. Whatever goes, may all beings notice, relax, and flow. Welcome to the first quarter of, I think I'm going to change this here. Okay, welcome to the first quarter of this morning's group meditation. Upon the tip of our left ring finger, we could rest the great knuckle at the base of our right ring finger, palms up in our lap. Doing so could gently invite our real or imagined subtle energies to automatically coalesce at the navel region of our mid-abdomen. Let's quickly review the mechanics of mindfulness. Every time we, every time we inhale, we are wired by evolution to automatically access the sympathetic nervous system ensconced within the middle third of our spinal cord. The sympathetic nervous system has evolved to help us to notice in a very special way, to help us to notice vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly. But what are we to do with that which we notice? Well, we meditate. You see, every time we exhale, we are wired by evolution to automatically access our parasympathetic nervous system, divided between the lower third and the upper third of that same spinal cord. Our parasympathetic nervous system has evolved to support both physical relaxation as well as mental release. How then are we to best and most efficiently cooperate with these neurological mechanisms? Simple. During each inhalation, we could silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this, and during each exhalation, we could silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease, kind of like that chorus from The Wiz, Ease on Down the Road. Together as a team, let us meditate right now. Welcome to the second quarter of this morning's group meditation. Upon the tip of our left index finger, we could rest the great knuckle at the base of our right index finger, palms up in our lap. Doing so could gently invite our real or imagined subtle energies to automatically coalesce at the crown region of our head. Let's review the mechanics of mindfulness. Every time we inhale, thanks to our sympathetic nervous system, we are wired to vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly notice mind's antic self-perception. You know, sights, sounds, sensations, flavors, scents, and the like, including emotions, intentions, cognitions, recollections, and imaginings. What are we to do with all these antics? We meditate upon them. For every time we exhale, thanks to our parasympathetic nervous system, we are wired to practice both physical relaxation as well as mental release. This being the case, what's the best way, the easiest way, the most efficient way for us to cooperate with these neurological structures? Simple. All we got to do is, during each inhalation, is silently and mentally recite the the monstrous pronoun this. And during each exhalation, all we got to do is silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb, ease. Together, let us do that right now. And of course, by doing that, all that we noticed during our previous inhalation could fleetingly feel less tantalizing, less permanent, less defining, and even less graspable. Excuse me. Welcome to the third quarter of this morning's group meditation. Upon the tip of our left middle finger, we could rest the great knuckle at the base of our right middle finger, palms up in our lap. Doing so could gently invite our real or imagined subtle energies to automatically coalesce at the heart region of our chest. Let us take a moment to review the mechanics of mindfulness. Every time we inhale, thanks to our sympathetic nervous system, we are wired to vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly notice all manner of phenomena, from the external to the internal, from the physical to the mental, from the pleasurable to the painful, from the interesting to the boring, from the glorious to the grotesque. What are we to do with that which we observe? We meditate, of course. You see, every time we exhale, thanks to our parasympathetic nervous system, we are wired to both physically relax as well as mentally release. That being the case, what is the most efficient way that we could cooperate with these neurological processes? Simple. During each inhalation, all we gotta do is silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this, and during each exhalation, all we gotta do is silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease. Just like the chorus from The Wiz, we get to ease on down the road. Together, let us practice right now. And of course, remember, the moment you have a specific question, about Buddhist meditation or Buddhist philosophy, do not hesitate to type your question in great detail in the chat window. Welcome to the fourth quarter of this morning's group meditation. Upon the tip of our left ring finger, we could rest the great knuckle of the base of our right ring finger, palms up in our lap. Doing so could gently invite our real or imagined subtle energies to automatically coalesce at the navel region of our mid-abdomen. Let us take a moment to review mindfulness. Every time we inhale, thanks to our sympathetic nervous system, we are wired to vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly notice dualities, such as bust and boon, pain and bliss, scorn and praise, shame and fame. What are we to do with our awareness of these dualities? We bring it into meditation. You see, every time we exhale, thanks to our parasympathetic nervous system, we are wired to practice both physical relaxation as well as mental release. What is the most efficient way to cooperate with these neurological mechanisms? Simple. All we got to do during our inhalation is silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this, and all we got to do during our exhalation is silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb is. Together, let us practice right now. You have taken your first step into a much larger world. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. In approximately 9 3/4 hours, I would very much like to return to lead today's evening meditation class and group practice. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always.